Some watches try very hard to convince you that they're mechanical masterpieces. This one just cuts a hole in the dial and says, "Look for yourself," which feels a lot more confident. The Jazzmaster Open Heart is one of those pieces that immediately reminds you why people fall in love with mechanical watches. Not because it's ultra complicated or historically significant or forged from moon dust by Swiss monks, but because you can actually see the thing working. Tiny gears running, balance wheel oscillating away, little mechanical heartbeat doing its thing. It's all oddly captivating. The whole point of the Open Heart is right there in the name. You're getting this partial view into the movement through the dial itself, not skeletonized to the point where it looks like a confused luxury ceiling fan, but just enough to give you that old world mechanical charm. It's the equivalent of seeing the kitchen in a high-end restaurant. Suddenly, everything feels a little more alive. And for people who aren't deep into watches yet, this kind of design absolutely works. Non-watch people see this thing and immediately go, "Whoa, what's happening there?" Now this particular reference comes in at 42, and let me tell you, this watch knows it's 42. There's no wear smaller than expected magic happening here. On my 6.5-inch wrist, this thing absolutely sizes me out. Especially since dress watches typically work better sized down. But I've said this before and I'll say it again, if you've got bigger wrists or prefer larger watches, do you. Don't bend for others in this hobby. The long polished surfaces and wide dial opening gives it serious presence. This isn't a discreet little vintage dress watch slipping in quietly under the cuff while whispering Swiss poetry. This thing arrives. It parks slightly over the line. It orders an old-fashioned without looking at the menu. But somehow the proportions still work with the design because the openness of the dial actually benefits from the extra space. Smaller open heart watches can sometimes feel visually crowded. This one gives the movement a little room to breathe. The finishing here is kind of ridiculous for the money. Hamilton has always been strong in this category, but the Jazzmaster line especially feels like someone in product development got away with something. The polishing is crisp, the applied indices catch light beautifully, and the dial has this layered depth that looks far more expensive than it should. Then there's the strap. This leather strap feels like something your grandfather would have trusted implicitly while repairing an engine in 1964. Thick, sturdy, richly textured. It has that old school, built properly feel to it. Like solid American craftsmanship from back in the day before everything became ultra lightweight and optimized by consulting firms. You put this thing on and immediately understand the assignment. This is not an athleisure luxury watch. It's a proper leather strap dress piece. It belongs near dim lighting, wood furniture, and mildly expensive whiskey. The open heart design also does something clever emotionally. Most dress watches feel formal and composed. This one feels personal, slightly emotional even. It reminds you that there's an actual mechanical system inside, physically beating away on your wrist. Which sounds poetic until you realize I'm essentially describing a very tiny metal heartbeat strapped to your arm. So yeah, the open heart name is appropriate. And that's really the charm of this Jazzmaster. It takes something deeply mechanical and makes it feel emotional. It gives you the romance of traditional watchmaking without becoming stuffy or overly serious about it. Because at the end of the day, this watch exists for one very specific purpose. To make you stare at tiny moving gears instead of answering emails. And really, what more can a watch enthusiast ask for?